Hey, it's Joey from Imzz Elite, and we're back in the shop. We're gonna throw a brand new Legend Revo A on this 2021 Softail Street Bob. We'll get that progressive swapped out. I'll show you guys how to do it. Let's go. Get started, let's get this seat pulled off. It's got an ARP seat bolt, so you're gonna need a 5/16 12 point if you're running the same. Now we get the seat off, we're gonna go ahead and remove this bracket up top here. You can see you got a zip tie that's holding your taillight harness. We'll clip that, and then we'll pull these bolts here. Get this whole bracket kind of pulled out of the way. A pair of flush cuts or some dikes, just snip that. You don't have to unplug it if you don't want, because you'll be able to get around it, but the 7/16 socket will get these guys out. You'll need a T25 to get this little button head out. We can pull this bracket out of the way. We're gonna go ahead and take a 3/4 socket. Get this upper shock bolt broken loose. It's right underneath your tank bolt. You'll see it in the frame. Once you get that upper shock bolt removed, you can go around to the other side. If you look right here, there's a pinch bolt that's got this bolt tightened down. We're going to get under there with a modified Allen key. You may just have to shave it down, I'll show you. You're going to need a stubby to undo that pinch bolt, little stubby Allen. If you don't have one, you could probably just sand your 1/4 Allen short a little bit. If you notice, it's dramatically shorter than a normal key. That'll help you get up underneath this fender right here. And get up under there and get inside the Allen head of that pinch bolt. Once you get that pinch bolt loosened up to where you can kind of see some daylight between the head and the mount, you know that it's free. You can take your T45 on the extension and break that lower bolt loose. Once the bolt's free, you can reach up in there and just put your finger behind the head. Just kind of pull it out through the bore. All right, so the next thing we got to do is this progressive that he has in here has a remote reservoir that's mounted on a bracket. We're gonna have to go again and get the side cover popped off and get a Allen socket for that. Carefully set that off to the side. Now we can see a little bit and make sure we don't smack the reservoir on that side cover. Plus we have a hose for the reservoir that we have to kind of fish through here. So let's go ahead and get this Allen bolt removed. Our new shock's not going to have a reservoir, so we'll go ahead and replace that. Just put it back where it was. now that we got our reservoir free, all the bracketry's gone, both upper and lower shock bolts are out. Take our T25 again, the same one you used to get that last button head on that bracket out. You'll have to undo these two on the bottom of the tank. Once you pull those two, you'll be able to lift up this tab a little bit. That's gonna give you just enough lift to get the top of that shock out. And we also have our reservoir, so just be careful with all your wiring. Most of you guys, if you're going from stock, aren't gonna have to worry about this whole remote reservoir, so it's not gonna be a huge issue. See, I got some wiring I gotta work around here, so. So now we got that progressive shock removed. We'll go ahead and get our new Legend Revo A in there. All right, now we'll just do everything in reverse. So we'll put the bottom half slid in under the fender. We'll drop the top half in. You're just gonna line this up with that notch down in the bottom. You'll see your misalignment spacer here will fit right inside this notch. Drop that down in. Get this guy right here up top, underneath this little tab here. Dropped in place. Now we can get everything up top. As far as, we don't want to put this bracket on just yet because we may need to set some preload here. We're gonna have our rider come and adjust the sag, but I'll show you just how to get this in for now. So let's get this top bolt in just to hold it in place. Get that started. Same thing with the bottom. Now with this, if you change shock heights or anything, you're gonna have to play with the jack just to get your swing arm to droop or bump more until your misalignments and your bolt hole all line up. So like right now, if you look through that bore, we're not in line, so I'm gonna have to come down some.
In.
It will help to take your extension with that T45 and use it to push that bolt the rest of the way through. You'll have to work the misalignment spacer and the bolt until you get them to where everything jives. And then once you're in line, it'll just run right in. Now that that bottom shock bolt's tight, I'm gonna come back in with your stubby quarter Allen. Make sure you tighten your pinch bolt down good. Once your pinch bolt's down, we can go ahead and throw our bracket up top. Make sure we get our 2 bolts on the tank button back down. Before we forget, since we got the back already all buttoned down, we'll finish with the shock. Get this upper in. Throw our bracket back at the top. Make sure you keep your tail light harness on top of it. we got everything hand started, I'll go through and button them all down. Usually what I like to do if it has something like this, like a dampening setting or preload or anything like that, try to set it in the middle. Not so much on preload, but more so on dampening or rebound or compression adjustments. I'll figure out how many clicks it is all the way, and then we'll set it at halfway before we have a rider go and take it for a test ride. Got about 7. It's about halfway. Now we can throw the seat back on. Reinstalling side cover. Don't forget, like I did, to put your little plastic cover piece back in here. You'll do exactly the same thing, get your bolts all the way in, and realize that you forgot. You don't want to over torque these because it's just a brass insert inside some plastic. So. You're ready to rip?